The Jungle is a 2017 Australian biographical survival drama film, based on the true story of Israeli adventurer Yossi Ginsberg's 1981 journey into the Amazon rainforest. Directed by Greg McLean and written by Justin Monjo, the film stars Daniel Radcliffe as Ginsberg, with Alex Russell, Thomas Kretschmann, Yasmin Kassim, Joel Jackson, and Jacek Koman in supporting roles. It was released in Australia on the 9th of November 2017 by Umbrella Entertainment. What happens in the film? In the early 1980s, an Israeli adventurer named Yossi Ginsberg travels to Bolivia planning to journey into the heart of the Amazon rainforest. There, he meets Marcus Stam, a Swiss school teacher, and his friend Kevin Gale, an American hiker and avid photographer. The three are staying in La Paz at an Israeli community hostel. Yossi is out in the market one day where a stranger asks if he is an American. Yossi replies no. During the conversation, the Austrian stranger, Karl Ruprechter, claims the existence of an indigenous tribe in the jungle that they should go see. Karl says he knows the jungle, and he is friends with the tribe. Yossi, excited about the prospect of exploring the uncharted jungle and meeting undiscovered peoples like the Toromonas, chooses to believe him. He heads back to the apartment to convince Marcus and Kevin to come along. Skeptical of the stranger and his story, they refuse. Yossi continues to press them until they ultimately acquiesce. The next day, the trio meets Karl in a shop while he is gathering supplies for the hike. All three men are surprised when Karl leaves with the supplies and tells them they will pay for everything. Yossi, Marcus, Kevin, and Karl hike through the jungle for several days. They make it to a village called Azriamas where it is apparent Karl knows the villagers. They spend the day in the village and stay overnight, then head back into the jungle the next morning. Marcus starts having trouble walking and discovers his feet are full of bloody sores. By now Kevin and Yossi are tired of Marcus complaining. Yossi, Kevin, and Karl discuss how they all should proceed. Karl wants to leave the three while he goes and gets help, but Kevin and Yossi disagree with that plan. At this point, Marcus walks up, and Kevin proposes building a raft to navigate downriver so all of them can stay together. They build the raft and set off down the river. They hit some rapids, barely making it through. Karl gets upset at Kevin for taking control of the raft, floats the raft ashore, and says he is going hunting. Kevin had noticed Karl's fear of water, and deduces that Karl cannot swim. Yossi then goes to find Karl, so he will not abandon them. Marcus and Karl decide to abandon the journey and make the 3-day hike back to civilization where they can then return to La Paz. Meanwhile, Yossi and Kevin continue their journey downriver until their makeshift raft is destroyed in a rapid. Yossi is washed away by the river, leaving Kevin behind. Without a knife, tools, or any kind of survival training, Yossi must improvise shelter and forage to survive. He begins to give up hope after losing all sense of direction, wondering if he will survive the jungle. Meanwhile, Kevin is rescued by people from a nearby town who take him to Rurenabek, 120 miles from Yossi's location, Kuruplaya. At Rurenabek, Kevin calls for the help of the local authorities to find Yossi. They fail to find Yossi via a plane flyover, but Kevin believes that Yossi is alive. Kevin ropes in the help of the local boat pilot to search for Yossi, finally discovers his weakened friend and takes him to Rurenabek. The epilogue reveals that Karl lied about the hidden tribes, was known to rope backpackers into dangerous treks, and was wanted by the authorities. He and Marcus never returned to La Paz and were never seen again. The film was dedicated to Marcus's memory.